So the analogy is that
now government is the kind of body to look at that common entity, while you have your own vehicle going there with the understanding of the ethics and the law. Now, likewise, there should be a government. Any country, if it is not anarchy, there should be a government to look at that public sphere, public common area, called the viewership and readership and all. That intervention is the intervention to develop the regulation.
Right.
Then that regulation should be there. If not, you can't have any proper functioning of this.
Could one ask the question whether regulation in Sri Lanka has had any effect with that common body that you were talking about, state?
No, like now look at the moment. Governments, regulatory bodies are the only bodies which gives kind of limitations and protection to medias. Now this is the legitimate government is there, then the legal system is there, ethical system is there. Forget about ethical system, that is a different thing, that you can't punish persons without not doing that particular set of ethics, no. But in legal system is there. Then you need to have kind of arrangement, legal arrangement, how to register your platform, then how to conduct, and what are the limitations, what are the within that particular limitation, there should be a free space where you can develop, that is the common.
There should be, but is there? Has there been?
I think, that space is there. There are issues. I agree that that issue should be addressed, that issue should be looked at, and if there are any wrong things happen, then need to rectify. That all are correct. But that space is there. Like look at weekend newspapers. You can get various different positioning in this country. Watch news. You can look at it. Even the other thing, like you can't even control international information coming in to society. If you have cable television, you would see almost all these things, what is happening there. Like now in a kind of age where you can't control things in a way that people are saying. What I'm saying is, there is a regulated kind of a space that is here, that should be there. Then within that space, the freedom is there.
I want to pick up on that issue of control, because a problem that I myself and some others had with the proposed private television regulations that were mooted late last year, I think in October or something, was that it was overbroad and ill-defined. I'm not entirely sure who drafted it. I was told that it was somebody from a university who was leading the team of drafting. A lot of it was taken actually, literally copied from Indian television regulations, inapplicable in a Sri Lankan context. But taken as a whole, it was very disturbing because it was overbroad and very ill-defined. It was a bad piece of regulation. That's putting it very kindly. Now, why do you think that kind of document comes up in a context where regulation, as you said, is or rather the control of content is impossible to do?
Like now, here I need to be very careful in a couple of reasons. One is that this is in the now Supreme Court issue. I don't want to discuss many details, but I can. What I'm going to do is to give some conceptual kind of area that what is going on and what should it be. Then the thing is now the television technology or television station came to Sri Lanka in 1980s. Now 1982 Television Broadcasting Act was established, and according to that act, all the other license were issued by the government, by any government which is there. Then there was a section in that act, section I guess 28,
27 or
28, where it gives that the authoritative ministry of that particular area should develop regulations to run this sort of media. But it was lacking last 25 years. Then that was the measure which was taken by appointing well qualified, as you said, university based.
I didn't say well qualified.
to me, I mean, they are qualified. I know, I mean, I know the CVs of those people, but I mean, those are the people who brought in to develop this thing. Then there was a draft. Then now that is in the, legal discussion. We don't want to discuss the content of that thing. But as an idea, what I feel is like regulation is a good thing. It is not a bad thing, as we discussed. But how to do that, and how to get a common understanding to do this thing, and how to get agreements, not the public but the private sector as well, are very important issues. Those things we need to address.
And just on that point, I want to go back to what you said earlier, which is the culture of engagement.
Right.
Would you see it as beneficial in the future to have that public spirited engagement on the basis that regulation is necessary before coming up with a draft that enrages everybody and doesn't contribute to engagement?
Right. I mean, there's a point over there.
Yeah.
But what I see is like, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe that particular body sometime thought that
I'm not referring to this one alone, but in the future.
That is true. That is true. I think that we need to get engagement from different part, like critics, some institutions, some say trade unions, and some or private people.
Would you consider yourself to be in the minority for wanting that kind of engagement, or do you feel that there is a broader
No, I think within the
support for that?
No, I mean, if I say that this is the government which is very democratically elected and very people oriented, then they don't want to do, to me, that they don't want to do anything which is not matching with that main policies. But what I feel is like you need to, like, there are a lot of difficulties any sort of given situation in country like here. Like, you can't get a kind of, as you said, sometimes qualified, well known people to do some of this kind of work. Then but what I was trying to say before you asked this question was that as principle we need to have sort of regulation to run this industry. Without that you can't run. Like, say, like, I mean, you do according to your way and the other one is doing it the other way, then there should be a lot of, lapses. Like that, you are putting all vehicle into road without any regulations. Then you can't move. Then we need to have some facilitator, the government, to come in and to develop some regulation that this is the way that this should go and this is the way that that should do. Then how to do that is another question which I agree part of your views.
But I want to clarify one thing, and it is that you believe that it is the government that should take the lead in drawing the framework for regulation.
Government is the, I mean, in a democratic setup, the people's mandated government is the authority who could do this kind of work. If not, if the one group of people would, the other group would not agree with that thing.
Absolutely, but I'm sure you know this as well, by the advertising standards, for example, in the United Kingdom, in England.
Right.
It's completely self-regulated and it works very, very well. There is a code, there's an ethical guidelines code, and the public can complain. The complaints are taken very seriously, and it's a self-regulated body, and everybody is quite scared of getting the red flag.
I agree. But, I mean, they are the cultural section.
So that's what I want to come to.
Involving there. Okay. Like, if you have a culture where you look at that, if you are doing wrong, then it is not, it is shame on you, then you don't do that. Likewise, there is a cultural related,
Are you saying indirectly that Sri Lanka has a shameless political culture then?
No, not political culture. What I'm saying is whole culture. I mean, people's engagement, democratic engagement, culturally, like, if you don't want, now say in United Kingdom, they don't have, constitution as such. Like, they are governing their systems, meaning that they have some culturally related, I mean, working pattern on this thing. Then you don't want to, I mean, have that problems. But here, the country like in Sri Lanka, you need to have framework, you need to have structures, you need to have some regulation to organize society, a system, or even businesses. That is the problem that we are doing.